Hey everyone, today we're jumping into a story that's all about humanity, unity, and just how far ambition can take us. We're talking about the legendary Tower of Babel and what's known as the confusion of tongues.
So let's just kick things off with this wild idea. What if? What if the entire world once spoke just one single language? Can you even imagine that? No translation apps, no misunderstandings, just pure, seamless communication. What would a world like that even be capable of? Well, believe it or not, that's exactly where this whole story starts.
All right, so let's set the scene. We're talking about a time right after the Great Flood. Humanity is basically getting a do-over, a fresh start. And in this new world, everyone is completely united.
And this wasn't just some surface level harmony. It was powerful. It wasn't just that they spoke the same words, they had the same purpose. They took the same actions. They literally moved as one group of people, journeying together until they found this one spot to settle down, a place called Babel. And it's this unity, this incredible togetherness that really sets the stage for everything that's about to happen.
Okay, so with all that unity, something else started to grow: ambition. And we're not talking about small-time ambition here. They decided they were going to do something huge, something epic. Their plan? Hey, let's build ourselves a city. And you know what? Let's build a tower that goes all the way up to the heavens. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. The sheer audacity. This wasn't just about building a new town. This was about creating a massive city with a tower so tall it would literally touch the sky. It's just an incredible statement of confidence, of human power. So you gotta ask, why? What was pushing them to do this? Well, it boils down to two big things. First, they wanted to make a name for themselves, right? To build a legacy. And second, they were afraid of being scattered all over the world. They wanted to stay together, to keep all their power in one place. And really, when you look at it, both of those things were being fueled by one thing: pride.
And listen, this wasn't just some pipe dream. They got to work. That single idea, it turned into a real foundation. And pretty soon, the tower started to rise. You can just picture it, can't you? Gaining momentum, climbing higher and higher and higher. It was a physical monument to just how big their ambition had become.
But as that tower kept growing, it was being watched. This amazing display of human power didn't go unnoticed. And what happened next was a major intervention from above. This is the big turning point in the story.
So, God saw what was happening, and the motivation behind it all was pretty obvious. See, the problem wasn't really the tower itself, the stone and the mortar. It was the pride that was building it. The big concern was that if this kept going, humanity would think there was absolutely nothing they couldn't do, all on their own.
So an action was taken, but it was really, really specific. The tower wasn't just zapped by lightning or knocked down by a flood. No, the intervention went right to the source of their power, the one thing that made it all possible: their language.
And the effect? It was instant, and it was huge. I mean, just look at this contrast. Before, you had one language, total cooperation, and they were building. After, suddenly there are tons of languages, total confusion, and instead of building, they're scattering. The tool that brought them together was now the very thing tearing them apart. It was a complete reversal. What happened next was just chaos. Pure chaos. Just try to picture it. You're up on that tower, working side by side with your friends. Everything is going perfectly. And then, the next second, the person next to you is speaking total gibberish. You can't understand a word they're saying. You can't ask for a tool. You can't shout a warning. Everything just stops. The project is dead in the water. And that one thing they were so afraid of, being scattered, well, it happened. So this brings us to the big takeaway. What's the lesson here? I mean, beyond this incredible image of a half-built tower, why do we still talk about this story thousands of years later? What does it all mean? Well, for starters, the name of the place itself is the lesson. It was called Babel for a reason, because that's where their language was confused or babbled. The name and the event are locked together forever. It's a constant reminder of what can happen when ambition gets out of hand. And that really is the heart of it, isn't it? This story wasn't actually about building a tower. The tower was just a symbol. The real point, the real lesson, is about human pride. It's a warning about what happens when ambition isn't checked by a little humility. And man, is that a timeless idea. So this ancient story tells us what happened one time when humanity's power went unchecked.
But it kind of leaves us with this big, nagging question, one that's just as relevant today. What happens when humans rise in power again? It's definitely something to think about, right? How does that ancient lesson still echo in our own world?